Hey, welcome to our Facebook live stream on the top 10 questions about fostering. I'm John Stewart. I'm here with Tara Williamson, and we're here to answer your questions live from Family and Children's Services offices in Kingston. And we're really glad that you are here with us. And listen, if you're watching on Facebook right now and you want to ask a question, then all you got to do is start typing, and we'll get to it as soon as we can. If you're watching the recorded version of this, which is I'm actually doing on the screen right now, or will be in a little while, then all you have to do is, if you want to get in touch with us, ask us some more questions. All you got to do is go to our website, bethehelpkidsneed.ca. And if you're watching this outside of Kingston, Frontenac, Lennox, and Addington, and you want to be a foster parent, then just look up online your local Children's Aid Society. They'd be happy to talk to you about fostering. Now, Tara, you know, we came up with this idea of our live stream a while back because when we have open houses, we get lots of these kinds of questions from foster parents.
Yeah, we have open houses several times a year, and we always get, you know, very similar questions at these open houses. So we thought, why not compile them all and answer them for you tonight?
Now, you know, we know you have questions because this is a really big issue. It's a big decision that you have to make about becoming a foster parent. Also, it can be kind of complicated and sometimes downright confusing, and we understand that. That's why we're going to go through our top 10 questions that we usually get at an open house. And we'll try to get you your questions as well as soon as we can. And if we don't cover what you need to know or your question, and you have something you want to maybe add or ask, then all you have to do is contact us. People like Tara will get back to you, and we'll have the answers that you need, because we always have people waiting to talk to you about fostering. Now, of course, one of the big things, the biggest question, the question that only you can answer is, why should I be a foster parent? And that's a very individual question, or an individual answer that only you can answer. You know, it's kind of a thing where everyone would have a different answer, and no answer would be wrong. You know, it has to click with you. It has to click with where you are and where you're going and with your family. But one thing's clear from the people we see when we do fostering, and that is foster parents, they want to make a difference. They want to change the world like one kid at a time. And if you're interested in helping the kids we serve and helping this community by making a difference, then you're in the right place. So without further ado, and several people are online with us right now, let's get started on our top 10 questions about fostering. So let's get to the first one. So what is the home study and Pride like? Good question.
Yeah, this is a great first question to start on. Everybody always wants to know what the training looks like, how long does it take to become an approved foster parent. So let's start there. Pride sessions are what we call our training for. It's mandatory for all foster parents. It's a 10-week course that happens here in our Kingston office. It's once a week for 3 hours on a weekday evening. We teach you all about what it means to be a foster parent. We give you all of the tools to be successful. It's a really interactive session that one of our agency staff and a current foster parent run. You're with like-minded people that will become your network of foster families. And best of all, there's always snacks there. When you start Pride, you also start your home study process, which is pretty much as it sounds. We come into your home, a resource worker is assigned to you. We visit you no less than 5 times, and we basically want to know everything about you and your family. And we do that to make sure that you're prepared for the ups and downs of being a foster parent. We want to make sure we really, really know you. Yeah, and so we come and visit and hang out with you for, you know, no less than 5 visits. The timeline for Pride and home study is about 4 to 6 months from start to finish.
Now, that's Pride and the home study, but how to actually get people get started on this process?
Yeah, so if you want to get the ball rolling, reach out to us. You can email us, you can call us, you can find us on social media, you can send me some smoke signals, however you want to get in touch with us, just do it. And from there, we'll set up a meeting, and it'll be very casual, informal first meeting. We'll go through the application package with you, answer all of your questions, and start there. We do have a Pride session that's coming up in January. So if you are interested in getting the ball rolling, reach out to us sooner rather than later so we can get you on that list for January.
Okay, question number 2. How do I get matched with a child? What's the answer to that one?
Well, we go over this a lot in your home study. We really dive deep into this. We want to know the characteristics of children that would be right for you and your family. And, you know, we ask you questions and we really dig deep to find out what you are willing to take on. And yeah, what's right for you and your family.
Cool. Now, the third question is, what is the relationship that I will have as a foster parent with the child's biological parents and their family? Yeah,
we get this question a lot. And you know, as an agency, our vision is strengthening families. So although each case is different, this often means that the child will have visits with their biological family. And you as the foster parent, what that means for you is you would take them to the visits with their parents and meet the parents. You know, it's, again, each case is different, but our agency goal is to make sure the child's relationship with their biological family is as strong as it can be. And you as a foster parent, we expect that you help us in that goal.
Yeah, we understand how a lot of people would be, you know, on the face of it, they would think that one might make them a little bit uneasy. But I guess, Tara, you know, we've been doing this for a long time, and we have a lot of foster parents and a lot of staff who are very familiar with this. They shouldn't really worry.
Yeah, no, we're experts. We do this all the time, all day long. So you're in good hands with us, and we'll walk you through it every step of the way.
Okay, question number 4. What kind of supports do I get when I have a child in my home?
Yeah, so John, this was one of the things that impressed me most when I first started at Family and Children's Services, was the level of support that our foster families get from us. You know, you get assigned a resource worker from right at the application stage, and that person is with you every step of the way. We help you navigate the ups and downs, we answer all your questions, and we really make sure that you're prepared. So there's a whole agency support system in place. But we also have volunteers. We have over 100 volunteers at this agency, and they do things like help you with drives. So for example, if the child in your home needs to have a visitation or a doctor's appointment and you can't facilitate that ride, we have volunteers that will help with that. We also have tutors for our kids. So, you know, really the resources are endless. We also have a monthly per diem for your family to cover all the financial expenses of a child in your home. So we've got you covered.
Now, an interesting thing, and maybe we should stop here and just talk about it for a second. When you become a foster parent, we're going to assign a worker to you. But, and if I get this right, Tara, you correct me if I'm wrong, the child in your home also has their own worker, and also we have support workers as well. So how does that all work?
Yeah, so you'll have a worker as a foster parent. The child in your home has their own team. We also have a team of enhanced support staff, which their whole job is to help with the unexpected. So things that come up that aren't a regular case, and we have a team of people to help with that. So, you know, you're in good hands with us, and we help you every step of the way.
Now, question number 5 is the biggie. What qualities does a successful foster parent have? I think we get that like all the time. That's the big question. You know, what are you looking for? Do I meet a profile? Am I the person that you're looking for? Do I share the same qualities as a successful foster parent? What's the answer to that one?
Yeah, I think that a lot of people think that the demographic of foster parents is just a small little group of people, and it takes like a very specific niche of people to be foster parents, and that just isn't the case. The demographic is wide. You know, we have empty nesters who, you know, their kids have gone off to school, they've got room in their home. We've got single parent foster parents. We've got families that have lots of biological kids, and 2-parent families, and young foster parents and old foster parents, and really all shapes and sizes. So there really isn't, you know, one specific demographic that makes a good foster parent. But what I will say, and our current foster parents can attest to this, is that one characteristic that they all share is they have patience and they're flexible. you really are helping kids and helping parent a kid with a team of people. You have to work with our agency, you have to work with biological parents, so you have to be very flexible to work within our team and this environment.
Okay, we're halfway through our list of top 10 questions. But remember, if you're watching on Facebook right now, and a few people are, in fact, listen, Marie, thanks very much for sending that message to us. Hello back to you. If you're watching, start typing right now with your question, and we can answer it in just a minute. If you're watching the recorded version of this and you want to know more, then just go to our website, bethehelpkidsneed.ca. And if you're outside of Kingston, Frontenac, Lennox, and Addington, and you still want to become a foster parent, listen, just search for your local Children's Aid Society. They'd be happy to talk to you about fostering as well. Now, the next question is, how do I talk to my spouse or my kids about becoming a foster parent? That's a toughie.
It was a toughie. So I let the experts take this question. I thought, who better to answer it than one of our current foster parents? So I reached out to her. She sent me an email, and she's allowed me to quote her. So I'm just going to read what she said about, how she spoke to her family about becoming a foster parent. So what she said was, as a family, we consider ourselves a unit. Everyone has a voice. When we decided we would become foster parents, we had an open discussion with our children. We asked for their concerns and anxieties. Our children were very vocal with regards to what they thought was acceptable behaviors and what they thought might lead to stress for them. Having this discussion helped us highlight some areas of acceptance and some areas to avoid when it came to fostering. We also approach fostering as a mission and see it as a chance to show empathy towards others. We have the chance to share our life experience with a new person. Building relationships and building confidence in both our biological children and our foster children is really what counts. That's a great answer.
That's a really good answer. But I have to add one other thing, and that is the best way to find out about fostering is really to come talk to us. If you want to come talk to us, if you want to bring your spouse or your kids, just come on down. You can talk to Tara or someone else, and we can walk you through it. We can help you with some of the issues. We can help you with some of the ideas. They have some of the answers that you need. We'll help you. But let's start talking. Just contact us, and we can get that process underway. Now, the next question is, how do I get a break? What kind of respite does a foster parent get when, they've had enough and they want something? Maybe just some time off. What do they do?
So you can call us. We'll help you with respite. We will never leave you high and dry or our children high and dry. So give us a call if you need us to help you with respite. But you can also look towards your network. Do you have extended family and friends in the area that can help? Babysitters, whatever you need. But just chat with us. We'll make it work. Whatever you need, we'll help you with.
Now, the next question is kind of related to this. What if there's a problem late at night or on a weekend or a holiday? What do they do?
Aren't we always here? Isn't it Friday night at 7? No, well, we are always here. Somebody's always willing to pick up the phone and help you out. It may not be your worker that you call late night or on weekends, but we have people here 24/7. You just call and we'll answer and we'll help you with whatever you need.
That's right. We actually operate 365 days a year. There's always someone to call at Children's Aid. And that's a good question, but that's a good answer as well. Now, question number 9, what if I change my mind? This process is long. It's not as simple as just one step or another or one meeting or another. It's a real process to get to know you and for you to get to know us. And what if you change your mind? What if you're working through this and maybe you want to stop or maybe you want to go farther or faster? Like, what happens if you change your mind in this process?
It's okay. We get it. It's a huge decision. And while you're going through Pride and home study, you learn so much more about what being a foster parent is. So you may change your mind, and that's okay. You can go as far in this process as you feel comfortable with.
Okay. Now, question number 10. Why should I become a foster parent? Now, we talked briefly about it, but what's your answer, Tara?
Well, right now in our community, we are in immediate need of foster parents, specifically foster parents for teenagers. We need homes that are safe for kids to land in. There is no doubt, and you know, if you know a current foster parent, they will be the first to tell you that this is an incredible, rewarding experience, and you really will be changing the lives of kids and their families, not just today, not just while you have them, but really for the rest of their lives.
You know, what I'm struck when we talk to foster parents, especially at our open houses where we're having a question and answer session, is the one thing that they say, you know, the ones who come and lead our discussion, our long-term foster parents, is that they say, yes, this is a challenge, there's no doubt about it, but also that there's great rewards. There's a real feeling of accomplishment, a real sense of you're really changing the world, you're making a better tomorrow. And that's something that sometimes in all the stuff that we make you do and all the tests and all the things that we throw at you, you know, that's something that's important too, that there is a reward, and it's a kind of a personal reward that's going to be just yours, and that's really special. Also, if you want to know more about that, we have actually an interesting perspective on this. If you go to our website, bethehelpkidsneed.ca, and you look at some of our videos, there's a video there from one of our former foster teens. Her name is Abby, and she talks specifically about this very thing. So if you want to go to our website, look through our videos, you'll see her video, and just listen to her words about why being a foster parent can make such a difference. Now, we're at the end of our top 10. But of course, we had a few other questions. We have a couple that have already been sent in, but we also have a number of questions that, in fact, that some people sent us offline. And one of the questions that we had was, why is this process so challenging? And, you know, obviously, we're talking about a situation where you have to come talk to us, we have to understand you, we have to meet with you, we have training, we have a study. You know, it takes weeks, and it's a kind of an involved process. And why is that such a challenging process? I don't know, what's your take on that?
Well, it's challenging because you are taking care of kids in the community, and yeah. we have to know who you are, and these kids really need a safe place to call home while they're being fostered. So yeah, we need to know you.
This is not like becoming a babysitter.
Yeah.
It's so much more. We really do need to know who you are. And frankly, you know, if we're going to work together, you need to know more about us too, about what we're requiring you to do, who we are serving, what kind of work we do. So it's really a process where we're discovering about you, but you're discovering about us as well. And also, we have to face the fact that we're a government-regulated agency. We have a number of things that we have to do that are mandatory. And one of them is training, for example. And so that's the reason why it is so particular the way it is. But it has to be that way, and we can't change it. So it has to be the way it is. Now listen, we have a couple of questions already. And one is actually from Marie, and thank you very much for this question, is, you know, is it challenging for a same-sex couple to become a foster parent? And do we have to be homeowners? That's a good question. That's like two questions. Let's break that down. What about same-sex couples?
We have lots of same-sex couples,
yeah.
Lots of them. So this goes back to there really is no demographic set in stone for being a foster parent. So yes, of course. And no, you don't have to have a homeowner. If you've got space in your home and love in your heart, then you can be a foster parent.
Okay, now we have a couple other questions. One is, you know, if I'm not ready to be a foster parent, how else can I help? Well, that's actually really good because, you know, not everyone wants to be a foster parent. I guess that's obvious, but I'll say that. Not everyone wants to do that. Really, we're looking for a special kind of person or a special kind of couple or a special family. But there's actually a lot of other things that people can do to help our agency and help the kids we serve. You could become a volunteer, for example. You can donate to one of our charitable programs, including, you know, the holiday campaign, the Tree of Hope, that we're running right now. Or you could maybe be on our board of directors when another spot comes up, or you can advocate for changes that the kids and our families need. Listen, just go to our website, and there's all sorts of information there about what you can do to help if you don't want to be a foster parent. The other obvious one is maybe you don't want to be a foster parent, but maybe you know someone who could. Maybe you could share this information. Maybe you could tell them to go to bethehelpkidsneed.ca, and then maybe they could become foster parents, and that would also be able to give us the kind of stuff that we need as well. Now we have a couple other questions. How long do you foster one kid usually before he or she goes back to her family or his family? Well, that's a toughie.
It is a tough question. We get this question a lot. This is not a great answer. There is no usually. It really is case by case. But when we ask you to take a child into your home, we will give you all of the information that we know. And sometimes we'll be able to give you a good estimate of how long that child could potentially be in your home. But it really is case by case.
Okay. Now, we should mention here, if you're watching on Facebook, listen, just start typing like some of the people here. Just start typing, asking us some questions. But if you're actually looking at the recorded version of this, just go to our website, be-the-help-kids-need.ca. Send us a message, ask us a question, or just simply call us at 613-545-3227. There's always someone here ready to talk to you about fostering. Now, we have another question. It's a question about what happens if there's family outside of the country. You want to be a foster parent, and if I'm getting this question right, I hope I'm doing justice to it. There's a foster family. They're thinking about becoming foster families, but they have extended family outside the country. And they, how do they visit? How do they leave on vacation? That kind of stuff. If I'm getting that right, maybe you could tell me if I'm wrong. How does it work when you have to travel or you have connections that are outside the country, outside the province, or outside a jurisdiction of Kingston? What do we do?
Yeah, again, that's really case by case, but we will work with you. You talk to your worker about what's going to work for your family. So, I mean, we have lots of foster families that bring their foster children on vacation with them, and that's allowed and it's okay. There might be some obstacles with, making sure the biological family is okay with it, but, that's our job. So, but yeah, by all means, our foster kids love it when they can go on vacation too. If that's not possible, we can arrange respite workers to take care of the foster kids. So we'll do the heavy lifting.
It's not an impediment, we were talking about respite earlier before, where, foster parents, they need a break like everybody else, need to go on vacation. We can make it work. Now, we have another question here, and that is, can you choose the age of the child you foster? And that's actually a good question. We were talking about matching before, but what happens, obviously we know, and we've been talking about for a long time, how we need foster families to help teens. That's the thing that we really need right now. But important to note that we also have an ability for foster parents to tell us what they are comfortable with. How does that work?
Yeah, so at our first meeting, one of the questions we ask you is, what's your preference? What's your age preference and any other preferences that you may have? And then we will be very transparent with you about the needs that we have, and if there's kids in that age group that require fostering.
Okay. Now, we should mention why it is that we need teens, because it's actually a really great, interesting story. We've actually, at our agency, changed the way we do our service model. And one of the things we've been actually doing is using the idea of prevention, of helping families stay together and having less kids in our care. It's been very successful. In the last 5 years, we've reduced the number of kids in our care by 50%. But one of the things that's happened is that the makeup of the kids who are in our care has changed. Instead of being kind of an even distribution of ages, we now see that a lot of the kids in care are in fact young teenagers. They're tweens and young teens. And that's where we see the gap going forward. So that's our priority, because we really want kids, especially teens, to make sure that they get services too, as well as younger kids as well. So let's just see what other kind of questions we have really quickly. Oh, I think we mentioned there's a question here again. When is our next Pride training session? When is that?
We're shooting for mid-January. If you want to be considered for that Pride, though, we need some lead time. And with the holidays coming up, I suggest reaching out to us sooner than later to make sure you get onto that Pride. We aim for 4 Pride sessions a year. Sometimes that can happen. Sometimes there's things that come up, but definitely if you're thinking about it and you want into January, sooner is better than later. Okay,
we have a question here about geography. Do we need foster parents in Kingston or outside of Kingston? And that's actually quite interesting because, we service all of Kingston, Frontenac, Lennox, and Addington, and when you add it all up, it's actually the size of Prince Edward Island, which is Canada's smallest province. It's really quite a big place. Do we need foster parents everywhere? And the answer, I think, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, is the answer is yes and no. Obviously, we service this entire section of Ontario. We service every part of our 2 counties and the city of Kingston. But at the same time, you know, because of population, obviously a lot of the kids we serve are in the Kingston area. But I don't know, how would you answer that?
Yeah, definitely we need the most foster parents in Kingston and Napanee. But in order to do a great job at matching children with foster families, we need, you know, some families in the more rural areas. So because the last thing we would want is a foster family in Kingston who is serving, you know, a child outside of that area and having to get them to and from school is tricky. And so, yeah, to answer, the short answer is yes, we need families in every geography, but mostly Kingston and Napanee.
Yeah, in fact, we have foster parents like all over the place, you know, up in the northern parts of our jurisdiction, in the city of Kingston and Napanee, and in almost every other place before, in between. Now, we're also getting a number of questions going back to how we handle expenses for foster parenting. We mentioned off the top that we're going to be paying a per diem, but you know, there's a couple of questions about what happens if the child has a vision or a dental or a medical kind of thing. How do we handle that?
So you'll never be out of pocket as a foster parent. We take care of all of the expenses of the child. We have full medical and dental plans for all of the children, so you don't have to worry about that. Most doctors and dentists in Kingston know who we are, and it's a very easy, seamless process when you have to take a child to the doctor or dentist. So yeah, we give you a monthly per diem, but then there's extras for, you know, extracurricular or any above and beyond that your child may need. And all you have to do is chat with your worker and they'll work it out with you.
Now, another question we're getting, actually a series of questions, is exactly who is the parent here? And this is actually something we should probably just mention because it's kind of complicated. We're a Children's Aid Society and we have these children in our care, and you might be a foster parent, and then there's these biological parents. It gets kind of complicated because all of us are in the same business, all of us doing the same thing to support these kids. But basically, if I'm getting this right, as a Children's Aid Society, when we have kids in our care, usually it's because it's a court-ordered thing, and we technically become the parent of record. Now, foster parents are the day-to-day parent. They do a lot of the stuff that kids need on a day-to-day basis. But in fact, we retain, as the temporary parent, especially with a family court order, we actually retain the actual rights about deciding about important matters, but also being responsible for what happens. Isn't it basically?
Yeah, that's exactly right. We're the legal guardians of that child when they're in our care.
Yeah. So that makes a question, like, what is a foster parent supposed to do? Well, you know, obviously we need someone to be a parent on a day-to-day basis. We need someone to have a home. And it brings up a good question, which isn't here, but it's a good one, is why is it that we, in some cases, people know about group homes and a million years ago, orphanages, and why are you recruiting foster parents and foster homes? And I think the short answer, Terry, is that, you know, our research is pretty clear that kids need to grow up in families, in family situations, even if it's temporary, like being in a foster parent situation or being in the care of a Children's Aid Society. You know, being in a family home with a family is the way to go. Is that about right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's much better for children to be in a family setting than in something like a group home.
Okay. Now, we have time for just about one more question. If you want to start writing right now for your last question for us, then we can get to it right away, but then we have to wrap this up. But if you're watching the recorded version of this, then just listen. Go to wrong website, bethehelpkidsneed.ca. That's the website, bethehelpkidsneed.ca. And just look at the information there. Use the email form and actually send us a note, a question, or if you want to meet with us, we'd be happy to meet with you. In fact, you meet with most of the people who actually are going to be responding to that, and we'd be happy to talk to you. That's the best way to find out what's going on.
Yeah, if you fill out a request on the form, that usually comes to me, and if you want to have a one-on-one meeting and chat and ask individual questions, I am more than happy to meet with you. So just reach out.
Okay, now I'm thinking that we've done all the questions that we need, but also we're coming up on the 30-minute mark, so I think we're going to call this a day, and thank you for being here. You know, that wraps up our live stream here on Facebook about the top 10 fostering questions. I guess it's more like the top 20 or something, depending on what we did, but we covered a lot of ground, And really, more information is available by just coming to talk to us, giving us a call, or going to our website, bethehelpkidsneed.ca. That's the best way to find out. Listen, there's so many questions and there's so many answers, and we can go into a lot of details. What you need to do is just reach out to us. Reach out and we will get back to you and we'll give you the answers that you are looking for. Because remember, there's people at our agency waiting right now to talk to you about fostering. So thanks for being here. Thank you, Tara, for being here. Well, thank you all the people who are online with us as well. And thank you if you're watching on the recorded version. We really appreciate it. And remember, we're going to be waiting for your call. Thanks for being here.